The world stood still on September 11, 2001. A bright blue sky morning turned into a spectacle of horror, forever etching itself into the memories of billions. At 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time, American Airlines Flight 11, en route to Los Angeles from Boston, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The impact, between the 93rd and 99th floors, sent shockwaves throughout the city and beyond. As smoke and debris billowed from the gaping hole in the iconic skyscraper, news channels around the world scrambled to report on the unfolding events. The world held its breath, watching in disbelief and horror. This question was answered with terrifying certainty just 17 minutes later, when at 9:03 a.m. United Airlines Flight 175, also originating from Boston and bound for Los Angeles, struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center. This time, the impact was on the lower floors, between the 77th and 85th, unleashing a fiery inferno that trapped hundreds in the upper levels. It was clear now. This was no accident. America was under attack. The collapse of the World Trade Center towers remains one of the most searing images of the 21st century. At 9:59 a.m., after burning for 56 minutes, the South Tower crumbled, collapsing upon itself in a monstrous cloud of dust and debris. The world watched, aghast, as a symbol of American economic power crumbled before their eyes. The collapse of the North Tower followed soon after, at 10:28 a.m., after a fire that raged for 102 minutes. The attacks were not confined to New York City. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. The impact on the west side of the building caused a partial collapse and ignited a raging fire. This strike, on the nerve center of American military might, underscored the audacity and reach of the attacks. The final act in this tragedy unfolded in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. United Airlines Flight 93, originally traveling from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco, crashed at 10:03 a.m. The bravery of the passengers and crew, who fought back against the hijackers, prevented the plane from reaching its intended target, believed to be either the U.S. Capitol building or the White House in Washington, D.C. The death toll reached a staggering 2,977, including citizens from over 90 countries, highlighting the global reach of the attacks. The attacks on September 11th triggered a wave of grief, anger, and a steely resolve to bring the perpetrators to justice. The United States, under the leadership of President George W. Bush, launched the War on Terror, a global campaign aimed at dismantling terrorist networks and preventing future attacks. The first strikes of this war targeted al-Qaeda, the terrorist organization led by Osama bin Laden, who claimed responsibility for the 9/11 attacks. In the wake of the attacks, the United States implemented sweeping changes to its security apparatus. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, was created in November 2001 to enhance security protocols at airports across the country. New screening procedures, including the use of full-body scanners and enhanced pat-downs, became commonplace, reflecting a heightened awareness of potential threats. The Patriot Act, passed by Congress in October 2001, granted law enforcement agencies broader surveillance powers in an effort to prevent future terrorist attacks. The attacks of September 11, 2001, cast a long shadow over the 21st century. The War on Terror, launched in response to the attacks, has had far-reaching consequences, shaping U.S. foreign policy and military engagements in Afghanistan, Iraq, and beyond. The wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, while aimed at dismantling terrorist networks, have also resulted in significant loss of life and instability in the region. The cultural impact of 9/11 is profound and continues to shape American society. The attacks led to a surge in patriotism and national unity, but also to increased suspicion and discrimination against Muslim Americans. The image of the falling towers, a symbol of American vulnerability, remains etched in the national psyche, a constant reminder of the threat of terrorism. The legacy of 9/11 is complex and multifaceted. The events of that day continue to shape our world, reminding us of the human capacity for both great evil and extraordinary courage. In the years since the attacks, the United States has made significant strides in combating terrorism, but the threat remains real, a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, resilience, and international cooperation in an increasingly interconnected world.